Brady's, the Richard Shermans, the guys that kind of go later. Some of those guys are really good football players that maybe don't do as many things well as some of the guys that go earlier. But sometimes if they have a dominant trait and it can be cultivated, they can be really good players as well.
Do you find yourself sometimes selling guys, and you know no one's looking at player X in the first 2 rounds, and you're just thinking in your mind, how are they missing this? Do you find yourself every year like saying, here's these guys, and they're just, no one's going to know until...
Absolutely, because I have my opinion, right? Sometimes you find yourself on an island like nobody sees it the way that I do, although a lot of times everybody sees Myles Garrett the same way, but there's going to be differing opinion on a bunch of different guys. So sometimes there's guys on my team, sometimes there's guys on other teams. Like a guy that may slip in the draft, and we say, you know what, I can't believe this guy's slipping. This was like the hardest guy for us to prepare for. So it does happen quite often, but it's like I said, it's a great exercise of educated guessing.
Someone that really grew up in this process, before the year he was a 7th round, 6th round projected pick is Haason Reddick out of Temple. When you see him play, what type of player do you see now that he's going to be a 1st round pick?
You see a guy who's tenacious and versatile, and that was the thing I wasn't sure about going into the draft, because I knew he was a really good outside linebacker, a little bit undersized, but he's quick, he's athletic, he can make plays. You see him get after the quarterback, but you say, gosh, can this guy make the conversion to inside? And you see him in the Senior Bowl, and he jumps in and plays inside linebacker like it's nothing, and it was a perfect fit. So I think a lot of scouts had the same questions I did coming into it, and then coming out of it saying, this guy can help you outside, he can help you inside, he's going to help you on special teams. He's got a chance to be a really good player at the next level.
Now, to McCaffrey, I feel like it's ridiculous at this point to ask you to sell him, but still some people don't think he could be a bell cow, type of back in this league and be that lead back. So if you had to sell him, what do you say about Christian McCaffrey?
I tell him to take, which the biggest question is about measurables. I tell him to take his measurables and compare them to LaShawn McCoy, and they're almost identical. And then you look at LaShawn McCoy, almost at 10,000 yards rushing for his career, and a bunch of touchdowns, a bunch of receiving yards, and you say, okay, there are a bunch of guys that have those measurables that don't make it in the next level, and a few that do. And Christian has a lot in common with the guys that do. He is a premier competitor. When you watch him, he breaks a lot of tackles, but he doesn't take a lot of clean shots. In order to have longevity as a running back, you can't take a lot of hits. You watch LaShawn McCoy get tackled. He gets tackled from the side. You don't see a lot of guys get really big shots on him. So that 205-pound frame, it's not taking a pounding when he gets tackled, because guys don't get clean shots on him because he's that quick and that explosive and that athletic. So I'm looking at a guy that can run the ball between the tackles, can run the ball outside, catch the ball at the backfield, and as a day one punt and kickoff returner. So there's 4 different ways his first game in the NFL that he can touch the ball. That's a guy that's worth a 1st-round draft pick. That's a guy that's going to be successful in this league.
We know he's a great competitor, and you look at Carson Wentz, a team that he could possibly go to at 14 with the Eagles, another great competitor. Just how about what that backfield could be with Wentz and McCaffrey, if that's the case?
It could be exciting. Another Stanford man on the team is Zach Ertz. I think they've got great tight ends, really good receivers, really good quarterback, and Sproles as well. I think the combination of those 2 guys I think will be exciting, as well as the other backs that they have.
Now, with off-the-field issues, it's been a big topic of conversation in this draft. Like every draft, you have Cook, Mixon, and now Gary and Conley with what's happening. Just how do you evaluate those 3 players, and where do you think they'll go in the draft with now the off-the-field developments?
That's tough to say. One thing to always remember about these NFL teams is they have their own ways of investigating things and finding out the truth, and actually what's going on, what's transpired, what these young men are responsible for. On top of the NFL doing their own background check with all the resources that they have. So it takes someone, some organization, some entity that says, hey, we are comfortable with what we see at a certain level, So a guy that may have a high round grade with some kind of something bothering around him, they say, okay, we'll feel comfortable drafting him here, and you need to prepare yourself for the fallout, because there will be a fallout, because there are people justifiably and understandably that will be offended by drafting someone with a quote unquote sketchy past. But the bottom line for the organization is, you're a football team. You want to have good guys on your team, guys that obey the rules and the laws. And if you feel comfortable that a young man will be that guy for you and be able to play for you, then you find a place that you feel comfortable drafting.
Daniel Jeremiah just said that you recruited Jabril Peppers as a running back. What did you see from him back in the day that, as a running back, and how do you think he would be as a running back?
We recruited Jabril Peppers as a whatever he wanted to be. Dynamic, explosive. To me, he's one of those X factors in this draft, because whether he is a safety or a nickel or whatever you want to call, a dime player, whatever you want to call him, he's also a punt returner. He's also a guy that, if your offense has a role for him, he can touch the ball 3 or 4 times a game as a running back or receiver. He is dynamic with the ball in his hands. So, we watched him. We went to go see him play in the state championship game. Just a phenomenal athlete, a premier competitor, a great kid, bright and articulate and fun to be around. So he was really high on our list because it's not just his athletic ability. It was everything else that he brought to the table with his own personality.
Where would you play him, offense or defense in the
Yes.
NFL?
Yes. And some guys don't think like that.
He could play running back in the NFL?
I have no doubts in my mind. And if you've seen him return a punt or return a kickoff, you would say the same thing. He's dynamic with the ball in his hands. Now, for a rookie, of course, you never want to completely overload a guy, especially if he's going to play corner and play nickel or play safety or whatever, wherever they put him. He's going to have to learn the defense, learn the nuances, and all the communications. But touching the ball is one of those things that guys, they can either do it or they can't do it. You usually know that by 7th grade. This is one of those guys that I wouldn't mind putting in a fly sweep for him or a reverse or just throwing him a screen because he can touch the ball and make people miss.
Do you have any aspirations? I know you get asked this a lot, but any aspirations to ever coach in the NFL?
No time soon. And a lot of people ask that question and take my answer with skepticism, which I understand. But the difference between me and a lot of guys in my position is that before I became a college coach, I spent 9 years in the NFL. So I'm not one of those college coaches that wonders what it's like to coach in the NFL. I've coached in every game in the NFL except for the Super Bowl. AFC Championship game, playoff games. I've coached Hall of Fame guys. I've coached All-Pro guys. So I've lived that life, and I lived it for 9 years, almost a decade. So for me, it's not one of those things like, oh gosh, I hope I get to do that. I've already done that, and I love where I am, and I love our prospects really for the next few years. I think we're moving in a good direction at Stanford.
But wouldn't that be a little bit different just because you would be the head coach?
It's living in that world. It holds no mystery for me. I understand it. Sometime way down the road, maybe. I never say no, but I think my wife and family really love where we are, and I love where we are, and I think we had a really good thing going to Stanford right now.
Your dad an assistant with the Lions once upon a time?
He was, yes. I think he was with, 7 or 8 different teams, but yeah.
Were you in Michigan at the time? Did you guys live up there? Or?
Yes, we lived in Rochester Hills, Michigan.
What do you remember about that experience?
I remember I had to shovel the snow, which I don't miss in California, but I remember we had a phenomenal time. Some really good football players, was on a great staff. Darryl Rogers was the head coach. Wayne Fonts was actually the defensive coordinator. I think they were building something pretty special, and when they let Darryl Rogers go and Wayne took over, then it really became special, I think. They were right on the cusp. So I have a lot of great memories from going to the old Silver Dome and hanging out after football games and playing catch with some of the players. That was a lot of fun.
One other Lions-related thing, Alex Carter's up there now. He's sort of fighting for a roster spot this year. I don't know when you've seen him last, but what do you think he has to do to take a step in his game?
Well, rookie year got hurt, and that hurt him a lot. They love his speed and athleticism. He's very competitive. I look at him and I see a guy that can play corner or play safety, and that can probably help on special teams. So I think he's of that mind right now that he's got to go in there and compete. I think he's worked out extremely hard, and he's completely healthy now and ready to go in and compete.
How do you evaluate the QBs in this year's draft?
I think the evaluations on all the guys has been a little harsh. I think you can make a case for all the top 4 guys really being first-round draft picks and being able to play at some point in their careers. Understandably, you could say that none of them are ready to start day one, but that's rare. But some guys have to be thrust in. But to me, though, when you look at the whole group, they all have traits that you like. Deshaun Kaiser for me is the top guy for me. There's no one I believe that has played at that high level. His best is phenomenal. Now, He's got lots of cleanup and too many turnovers, and you can't turn the ball over in the NFL because you lose games. That's the bottom line. But when it comes down to playing in big games and playing big in big games and taking a team on your shoulders, nobody's done it like this guy has in the last 2 years. He's been phenomenal. Everybody's excited about Patrick Mahomes, which is completely understandable. Athletic and explosive, and guys capable of making unbelievable plays. Can he play within the pocket? Can he play within the scheme? Can he throw the ball on time? Can he throw the ball from the pocket repeatedly on time? So those are big questions, but the athleticism and the ability are truly there. Kaiser, big, strong, athletic, all the traits that you're looking for. Probably played a little bit better in 2015 than 2016, probably more consistent. But at the same time, everything that you see for an NFL quarterback, he does. So does he need to do better at a high level more consistently? Absolutely. But it's the difference between going from college to the NFL. And I think there'll be some transitional times. And then Mitchell Trubisky, last one, accurate, quick release, repeatable motion, more athletic than he gets credit for. This guy can scramble and get out of trouble and throw the ball on the run as well as throw the ball from the pocket. And maybe doesn't have the cannon that maybe Deshaun Watson and Mahomes have, but he can make all the throws, the downfield throws, the sideline throws. So I think it's a really good group that maybe doesn't have that guaranteed surefire superstar. But as a group, I think it's a good group.
We talked about McCaffrey, obviously potentially going to the Eagles at 14. But let's say McCaffrey goes earlier. Who are just some other names that you look at that these Eagles have going at number 14?
That's a tough one. I think that question's got to be answered by the organization. I think there are going to be a lot of good players, and as few people has talked about as worthy as those top 5 picks, really from 5 to 20. I think there are really a lot of good football players, and it all depends on what you're looking, because you're going to have good defensive backs, you're going to have some really good defensive linemen and linebackers, as well as 3 of those top running backs that I think are capable to contribute early in their careers.
I know I'm jumping in here a little late, but as far as McCaffrey and what he might bring to the Eagles,